Welcome, sales and marketing pros, to Making Sales Social Live, coming to you from the Social Sales Link virtual studios. I'm Bob Woods, and I'm joined as always by my co-hosts Bryn Tillman and Stan Robinson. How y'all doing today?
Great, Bob. How are
Doing
you?
great, thanks, Bob.
Yeah, good. Glad to see we are all here and we are all on our games today because we're going to be talking about something that we don't talk about all the time, but we probably should, and that's building and nurturing a sales community on LinkedIn. So, as we all know, LinkedIn is so much more than just a platform for connections. It's a vibrant community where meaningful interactions can lead to substantial business growth. And we can develop our own communities within the LinkedIn community as well, which makes it a fantastic tool for so many reasons, but especially for that. So today we're going to be sharing strategies on how to create and nurture an online community on LinkedIn. We're going to focus on engagement, value exchange, and fostering a real sense of belonging among members. And as always, please feel free to put your questions in chat and we will answer them along the way, he says, as he forgot to bring up the chat window. And there it is right there. Okay, very good. So, first of all, anybody have any general thoughts about building a sales community before we get into the nitty gritty and particulars?
I'm always happy to chat. So building a community, the first thing I think you have to do is identify who you want in that community. So
Mhm.
we call it a sales community, but really it's not about a sales community at all. It's about a community of people that you can help, that you can bring value to, and potentially become a sales opportunity. The other community to build in the realm of business development and sales are networking partners. So, for example, I am part of Women in Sales Experts Group. We we are a community in real person, and we meet once a year. But we also have, and we'll talk about all these different things today. We also have engagement threads, and we have a group, and we have areas inside of LinkedIn that we can engage and continue to grow that community. I am not selling to them. They all sell into the same clients we sell into, but we're not competitors. For example, Liz Hyman focuses on putting together a sales process for companies. We teach LinkedIn. Colleen Stanley will talk about EQ, having that emotional intelligence side, right? So all of us bring different things to the table, but can refer each other. So Colleen Stanley, for example, referred a piece of business to me, and I got to go to Oklahoma and meet Gunnar and Mike Middleton in person because of business that was referred to that group. So when you build out this community, even though we're calling it a sales community because we teach LinkedIn for sales, it's really about creating a community that can lead to business, but not lead with it being a place to prospect.
It's a great way to look at it. So it's kind of if you've ever been involved in like BNI or something like that. And sometimes those types of groups get a little bit of a bad rep because they think it's
I
leads
love
groups.
them.
Yeah, I do too. They're not leads groups. I mean, you can kind of think of it as kind of sort of an online, I don't want to say counterpart, but like a similar thing. But there's so much more that you could do in these types of
Mhm.
sales communities. At least I think so. Brent, Stan, have you ever been involved or gone to like a BNI or like that type of group in general?
Have been to a BNI meeting and a couple of similar meetings. One of the kind of yes ands that came to mind is for people that may be new to the concept of building communities. Don't think in terms of building a community around your company or your product or service. So as Brent said, the community is geared toward the interests of the audience that you want to serve. But for the most part, most people will not be attracted by the idea of joining a community around your company or your product or anything that does not add value to them directly.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's important.
yeah, absolutely. We
And
had
let me just
here.
add to the BNI real quick before we move on, because my daughter became a realtor, and the first thing I said to her is, "You need to go join a BNI group." So, for example, BNI is Business Networking International. There might be 20 or 30 people in a group that all have a different expertise, and the concept is for referral partners. I have taught a lot of BNI groups how to use LinkedIn to enhance that. And
Mhm.
so if you're in a BNI and you're interested, let us know. We're happy to chat. But the bottom line is what we want to create online BNIs, digital networking groups, in addition to something that might attract your clients or your customers or your prospects. Having those referral partners are even more important. It's the difference between fishing with a pole, right? So you have one pole, one line, one worm, one hook, one worm, and we're going for one fish. Or when you're networking, you're showing up with a big net, right? So there's lots of people that can be referring that business. So as you're building out that community, think in those terms. So thank you so much.
Yeah. So, I think probably the next thing to just kind of touch on really quick is kind of the mechanics behind the community. So like where do you start it? How do you continue to be engaged and things like that? And to me, something that immediate or a place that immediately comes to mind, even though they get maligned and with good reasons, but they can be done well too. And that's LinkedIn groups. So you can actually use the tools of the group to help enforce
Mhm.
or not enforce, reinforce your community with everything that we've just mentioned. You can even make it private so that no one else knows that it's there and it's just, your little cadre of people who are in there and truly helping others with their goal of getting to whatever specific audience of prospects that they have out there.
Yeah, an invitation only. So I will say, like, some of the biggest ones out there, there's the banking group has a huge amount of bankers, and it just attracts bankers. Now, I don't know
Mhm.
who started it, but if you're a bank, that's probably not the best group for you to create. Maybe, and I just am thinking, if you wanted to do this from a prospecting perspective, it could be, small business owners in Essex County, New Jersey, or in Union County, New Jersey, right? And so you can make it localized if that's what you're looking for. And now you're going to attract the people you want to have conversations with. But groups done well, as you said, Jack Hubbard loves groups. He's had some great success with them. I find that groups have not benefited me in about 8 years.
Yeah,
Don't
same here.
I just don't love them, but the people that use them do a very good job. I have a friend who has a group. I think he's got over 100,000 members. Um, it's an
Nice.
entrepreneurs group, and it's very, very active, but they are proactively reaching out to every single member, and he's looking to monetize that group. And and so, like, monetize it, not from pay to be in the group, but convert those people into customers, into members, right?
Mhm.
So there are, and he's doing exceptionally well, and that's his sole focus. So there are lots of ways to use it. We're not using groups well. If the communication in groups would improve, I'd be happy to use it more. I
Yeah.
tend to use threads. So this is just a message with up to 50 people in a thread. Now, this is another area that really gets kind of um, maligned in a way, right? Like they'll go, "Oh, those pods," they call them, right?
Right, yeah.
Their content, but honestly, a good thread is more than just share content and hope and pray people engage on it. A good thread is someone that might say, "Hey, I'm switching CRMs. What are you guys using?
Mhm.
Curious. I'm looking to get into XYZ company. Does anyone have a connection there?" right? And so really good groups, although can include content engagement, really should go beyond that.
Yeah, way beyond that, and that's actually one of the things that we're gonna that I had planned on hitting on, so let's get into that a little bit more, and that's strategies for creating an engaging community. Which guess what? We just talked about. So, I mean, it is a Q and A type of thing. If you come across someone, for example, who tosses a question at you and you're like, "Oh, I'll get back to you on that." And then you're like, "How in the heck am I even gonna find this?" Go to the community. Sharing sharing content in that pod type of thing arrangement, that's fine, but that should, as Bryn said, that should really only be a part of what the group does. It really is about valuable content, encouraging discussions, and even recognizing active members as well. Great job to X, Y, and Z who really helped out several people this week with their questions or whatever. Really about and it's not just about community, it's about engaging community, which I think is one of the reasons why LinkedIn's groups don't do very well is because there's just not something there that a message thread that has multiple people in it. And by message thread, we mean within LinkedIn messaging. You just invite a bunch of people to it. You can rename that to a specific thread and just have just like a multi-way conversation just directly on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I think that for us, we have maybe 41 people in a thread of our premium members, that where they're asking questions. I have about 8 or 10 that I really love. Fred Diamond has a wonderful active group of lots of sales pros. I really think when you are actively engaging with the right people, that's building the community. And that's really what it's about. So before I jump ahead, I'll let you tell you the next topic because I tend to.
Well, we're kind of all over the place actually. So let's just
I'm all over the place.
we are all over the place. All of us are actually.
Thank you for
Before we do that, Stan, did you want to add anything to that?
Yes, we are touching on a lot of different things. I guess
Yeah.
the one other thing that comes to mind is different people will have different objectives as far as groups. Because Brent, you mentioned monetizing a group and looking at from a sales prospecting standpoint.
Mhm.
Others will use it as an information resource.
Mhm.
So they'll go to groups to engage. Bob, you mentioned getting a question answered, that type of thing. So yeah, you can use groups for different objectives at different times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
definitely.
and I'm looking up the name of his group because I think it's worth folks checking out. Just if you're interested in learning how it works. His name is David Wagstaff, and I'm just looking for his group right now. But of everyone on LinkedIn, I think he's doing the best job of kind of using the group in a way that's engaging. It benefits a lot of folks. It is called Entrepreneurs Network, eprenz.com, eprenz.com. So he's
Yep.
created a
Oh, I know
whole
that.
company around this group. It is a private group, so you do have to request to be part of it. But I have to tell you, like, what he has done with it is unbelievable. The engagement is like I've never seen. The promotion, he has almost 131,000 members. And it's just incredible how he's grown this. He has a full-time person working this.
Wow.
Yes. So like this is part of, even if you look at his I just want to say he's building a great community. That's why I'm using this, because he's done a much better job than anyone I know. So yeah, so it's delivering dreams, 100,000 diverse entrepreneurs. Like that's in his headline. Like this group that he built has become his new company.
Mm.
Yeah,
Um,
that's amazing to take
yeah.
something like that and really build it into something of its own that, oh, by the way, you can also make a living off of too, and it's something that you enjoy doing because it seems to me that he enjoys doing it. So that's great. And in
Well,
fact,
by the way, he also helps to resell the entrepreneurs' businesses, like through affiliates,
nice.
right? Like he's really got this down.
Yeah, sounds like it.
So it's Entrepreneurs Network and David Wagstaff.
Very good, very good. Yeah, in fact,
Can I just share one more thing about David?
sure.
When I got into sales training, I was working with Lisa Peskin, my first partner, and David was my very first client that I closed ever
Wow.
in sales
Nice.
training. So,
Wow.
so
Excellent. Excellent stuff.
History.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, it's funny that we're talking about all this because I'm actually having a meeting next week with someone here locally. He has the list to the remember when people used to do LinkedIn lives in terms of local networking and things like that. This was like several years ago. LinkedIn, were they called LinkedIn Lives or were they called something
No.
different? It might have been called LinkedIn Lives, which is a little different from the actual LinkedIn Live product that we're on right now. But he actually has the mailing list from the old group, and we met up with each other at a conference a couple weeks ago, and he's like, "Let's get LinkedIn Live started again." So I'm
LinkedIn
thinking
local? Was it
LinkedIn
LinkedIn
Local,
Yeah,
yes,
local?
local.
local, thank
Yeah,
you, not live, local.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
I kept saying it, and I'm like, "I know that's not right."
It's
So LinkedIn
begins with an
Local.
L though.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, it does begin with an L, therefore my old man brain confusion, kicked in there big time, but yeah, so I do believe one of the things that we're gonna get going, if there's not one already, is a LinkedIn group around the local LinkedIn local. Yeah, that was right. Yeah, link yeah, yeah, a
Yeah,
group
I
for
think
Yeah.
you
LinkedIn.
have to apply and get accepted to use the name now.
Yeah. Yeah, we are gonna be discussing all of that too next
Yeah,
week,
yeah. But there
but
is
yeah.
a way to apply because
Yeah.
LinkedIn kind of took here. So there's a page. I'm going to stick this page.
So if y'all wanna do this too,
Yeah.
apply and get something. Whoops, wait. Oh no, we are gonna show that. Let's show that. Although nobody's gonna be able to do anything about it right away.
Oh yeah, you
But
don't have to
yeah.
worry about it. It's mostly for people to click through to get to that group I talked about.
Yeah, LinkedIn local. So we're gonna share this one and we'll show this one
Oh, you
instead.
can share it here. Okay, that's fine because they can see it in the
Right.
comments.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
We just like to share so much that sometimes we don't know what we're sharing. So
Share away, my friend. Share away. Okay, what's
Oh,
next
there we
on
go.
our community building list?
So we talked about value exchange, fostering a sense of belonging. So I think that just comes from people participating and truly participating in conversations with people when they share content and I think especially here's here's probably the key to this I think in terms of fostering a sense of belonging, and we've talked about this on other episodes before. Something that we believe internally here in social sales, like use the yes and philosophy when it comes to this type of thing. So yes and comes from the world of comedy improv. If you don't know, it's that kind of thing where no matter what somebody says on stage, you agree with it and then you add to it to keep the story going in that sense. The way that we do it here is we we acknowledge and we say yes, we agree with what's being said in the post, and then we use the opportunity to add value, to add thought leadership, to give your own opinion on it, as long as as long as you're still in agreement, do yes and not yes but yeah. So yeah,
So
Bryn, you want to say
yes,
something?
and I have my little list of things that we can do.
Go
So
for it.
whether it's a group or a thread or even a hashtag that
Yeah.
you're using to build this group, define the purpose and the identity of the group. So then you're attracting the right people. So if you're looking for people to feel like they belong, they need to fit the persona that you're attracting. Number two, welcome new members in groups. You can have automated messages that go out. that say, hey, connect with the leaders of this group. Here are some LinkedIn profiles that are LinkedIn, but welcome them and even provide a video or something that makes them feel included. You also want to, as a group, and this is really if you own the group or you're in charge of the thread or what, you want to start engaging conversations, right? So don't just post content, ask lots of questions, or post content like polls that are getting people to engage, right? One of the other things, and again, this highlight a member. Bob talked about this a lot. Like if they do something great, mention them, but mention them on the platform, right? Like whether it's privately in the group or privately in the chat, or you could do a kudos publicly, right? That everyone can see. So that really makes people feel good. One of the reasons our group is not that successful is because we lack moderation. You really want to make sure that people are not pitching on the group all the time. And if they are and you're an admin, obviously you can delete that or even recommend to an admin that content may be inappropriate. The other thing in making people feel comfortable, I made my little list in preparation, Bob, is we want to get feedback and ideas from the group. Don't just say, hey, this is my group. It's all about my networking and what I want to do. If you want people to feel included, and what was the word you used? Belonging.
Belonging.
Yep. Belonging. Yeah.
Okay. A sense of belonging, right? We need them to be part of the experience, right? Not just in the audience, but to feel like it's their group too. And then take it off of LinkedIn. Create maybe once a month Zoom meeting where you invite the people in the group, or you invite, maybe it's a mastermind or a round table, or around a topic where you might be the moderator, but you're not necessarily the speaker. And then people will really start to get to know one another. And then, encourage everyone to engage with everyone else. So I say encourage, but don't mandate ever.
Oh yeah.
Right. Well, that's what I think Todd's got a bad rap for.
Right. Yeah. So just so people know, once upon a time, these still may be around or not. I'm not sure. I'm guessing that they probably are. When you joined an engagement pod, first of all, more often than not, you had to pay for it. Blah. The other thing is you were mandated that you had to do a certain number of engagements or, whatever, however they did it. But the key word here is mandate. You had to do it. Otherwise you were kicked out. That's something that is just absolutely verboten in terms of what we are talking about doing here.
Even internally, none of us are mandated to engage on the other one. So for any reason, which I've never come across, but if for any reason you guys would share something of your opinion that I don't agree with, I would ignore it, right? Like I would be like, okay, that's I haven't found that to happen yet, but we are permitted to do that internally too. Like there's no mandating of perspectives. We happen to be incredibly aligned, which is why we do so well together. But the whole idea of mandating period is a mistake.
Right. And we're definitely not at that Borg mind hive type of situation either, which is a good thing. So so I think that
I want to be 11 of 11.
11 of 11.
That's my Borg number.
We're all 11 of 11. We're all 11 of 11. That's another t-shirt. We're all 11 of 11. So should I
share a really personal thing?
You can absolutely share a really personal thing.
I actually have tattooed 1111 along with my other 3 children. My 3 kids and I, all 4 of us have 1111 tattooed on our side. So that's why I have to be 11 of 11. I've already claimed it.
Oh, nice. So 2 out of the 3 SSL main people are inked. We're not sure about Stan, and I'm not going to ask him to reveal that if he wants to.
It would be hard to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good, very good. So I think we are gonna end on that note. So just kind of putting it all together, building and nurturing a sales community on LinkedIn. It really is a powerful way and a great way to drive engagement and business growth among those members. So, you know, implement everything. If you want to put your own spin on things, obviously go ahead and do it and watch your LinkedIn community thrive. So, thank you again for joining us for this episode of Making Sales Social Live. If you're with us here live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, or X right now, we do this every week. So, keep an eye out for our live sessions. If you're with us on our podcast and you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe or follow button. If you would like more information on our podcast, just in general, go to socialsaleslink.com/podcast. We do 2 shows weekly. We do this one and our Making Sales Social interview series, where we talk with leaders and experts in sales, marketing, business, and many, many more areas. So
Many.
many. So when you are out and about this week or anytime, just make sure that your sales are
Social.
Oh,
wow, we have
yeah,
just got
we're
that
getting closer.
nailed. Oh, that one's
Yeah.
nailed. That one's nailed.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right, guys.
Good.
See you guys
Have a
later.
great day.
Bye-bye.